Hey, this is your antidote to a New Year's resolution, any New Year's resolution, all of them. Because I've left it this late because I know they've all gone. And this is what works. You will never ever do a New Year's resolution again. Never. And I'm going to share with you what really, really works. And I don't think you probably haven't heard about this before. And if you have, well, that'll be good too. It'll just remind you. But this is a little bit of gold. Have a listen after this. Hey, this is the Personal Development Unplugged podcast, where we use hypnosis. Yeah, hypnosis. NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. Don't worry what it is. It's just a mass of processes that we're going to get you to change. Change to let go of anxiety, low self-esteem, and create massive supreme inner confidence. But that's confidence in your competence and competence in your confidence, which means you can do anything and be safe, to enjoy the world as it should be, with you at the helm, creating the life that you want. That's what this podcast is about. You and being the best you could be, singing from your real voice, aligned with your mission, aligned with your passions. That's what it's about. So if you're interested in letting go of anxiety, if you're interested in letting go of fear, guilt, all those blooming syndromes, imposter syndromes, and every little bit of the mind which is negative, then have a listen here, because we've got some wonderful processes and lots of good conversations between you and me to get us both thinking in such wonderful ways. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Just take the chance to have a listen.
Warning.
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 Warning. You are entering into the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. Too late. Personal Development Unplugged.
Hey, my friend. You're back with me, your friend Paul. And a longer podcast, as we like to do. And I've left it to now to say, how did you do it? How did you get on? Did you do what you did before? I'm betting you got what you got before. What the hell are you talking about, Cluffy? Well, I'm talking about New Year's bloody resolutions. And I want you to stop New Year's resolutions. In fact, this is the antidote to New Year's resolutions. Come on, admit it. Admit it. They very, very, so rarely work. They're like rocking horse things. But you got to admit it. New Year's resolutions very rarely work. They're uninspiring. They might, you might think they're inspiring at the time, but you don't follow it through. So they're uninspiring. And guess what? They're usually the same as last year. Oh, I'm going to stop drinking. I'm going to start getting healthy. I'm going to start running. I'm going to start going to the gym. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to eat healthy. Oh, yeah. Lovely thoughts, aren't they? Lovely thoughts. But uninspiring the way we do them for New Year's resolutions. And I know every year we do the same thing. And every year I talk about the same thing. Because if you do what you did before, that's what you're going to get. You know, that's what we do. Zilch. You're getting zilch back out of this. In some ways, I think they're too general. In some ways, they're not general. Basically, they're just fucking rubbish. But the thing is, ask yourself a question. Why the hell do we do it New Year, apart from the term New Year's resolution? Because I guess we're thinking, well, it's a brand new year. But why not whenever? Because it's a brand new bloody day. It's a brand new month, season, brand new minute. You can have it whenever you bloody like. And I think you should do. And I think I'd like you to start thinking differently about this. Because when you start thinking differently, it's that old saying, when you start thinking differently, things will be different. And we're going to get you, well, I'd like to get you inspired in different areas as well as the same areas. But in effect, when you get inspired in a specific area of your life and it works, guess what happens? Other areas of your life get better too. It just happens. They generalize. So we want to go not at the general level. We want to get at specificity and then allow that to generalize into all other areas of our life. You see, you and me, here's the thing. It's so sad. So sad. I'm going to say this to us both. You, me, we're not intelligent enough to know what we want. I think that's a little bit down, Paul, and I think that's a bit insulting, to be honest. Well, it's true. We're not intelligent enough because something happens. And we get like tunnel visions. It's not focus. It's just tunnel vision sometimes. And we miss everything on the outside of that tunnel vision. And what's on the outside of that tunnel vision? Opportunities. Opportunities that would actually match what you're looking for, but because you're not looking open, you're not getting those opportunities. You're not seeing them. You're not feeling them. You're not noticing them. And that's why New Year's resolutions don't work. They're uninspiring. They're the same as last year. I mean, that's not inspiring, is it? Oh, I'm going to get healthy like I wanted to do last year, and that didn't work either. So this is going to be so much better this year. That's rubbish, isn't it? Got to be different. And the reason I say we're not intelligent is because we are intelligent. You are. That was like, I don't know what it was. It wasn't meant to be insulting. It just means that inside us, we have a lot more than we consciously are aware of. That's maybe where I'm saying not intelligent. Our conscious mind wants to be the goal setter, not the goal getter. And we tend to try to do it as a goal setter and the goal getter. And that's where it all goes wrong. So I know the question is what's on your mind now. What's the alternative, isn't it? What is the alternative? You're saying, Cluffy, you've said all this. You've de-inspired me about setting New Year's resolutions. I don't know what to do now. You said it never works. You said I'm not intelligent. So what's the alternative? Well, here's the thing. I've been thinking about this, and I wanted to get a little bit counterintuitive, because when you say that, that sounds like you're a bit good. So my ego says, let's get counterintuitive. But I wanted to think of a way that works, and I wanted to think of a way that works naturally. Because if we can use, it's like NLP, if we can use the natural processes within us, the natural programs that really work, that match our values, match our beliefs, then they'll just work. And I don't think we do that when we try to do New Year's resolutions. So here's what I was thinking. Let's look at it completely the opposite way. Not where I'm starting from, but when we reach our goal. How does it make you feel when you think of one of those goals? When you've done it? How would it make you feel? Just think of something you'd like to do. But instead of thinking about how and the what and the where, just think, if I had it now, if I was doing that right now, how would I feel? How would I see the world? What would I be saying to myself? But more importantly, how would I feel? And how would I feel about the future? And how proud would I be that I'd done it and I'm going to do more? You see, let's think of it another way. Because that was the end, when you reached your goal. And that feels good, doesn't it? It does feel good. I can feel good now. I'm just thinking of one particular thing, of what it'd be like to know I've done it so well. And I'm there. And it feels absolutely awesome. But here's another one. Let's just go if you rewinded that a little bit, rewound, that's a better word, not rewinded, rewound that a little bit, and just imagine this if you would, that you're right in the middle of achieving your goal, achieving that resolution. What would it feel like? What would you see when you know the end is in sight? Success is within your grasp. You can see it. You can hear it. It's tingling. It's ringing. It's pulling you towards that wonderful completion, that successful completion. How does that make you feel when you're doing the thing that's going to get you the goal that you've always wanted? Successful. You know, sometimes when I'm thinking that, I can feel it, but I just feel like grateful. So I'm feeling two things now. One, I'm feeling, I know I'm going to get it. I'm so confident I'm going to get it. See, there's a feeling of confidence, but I'm grateful in this confidence, and I've just got it. It's just, and then it's just imagination. But if you can imagine this, wow. There's no limit, is there? There's the only limit to imagination is your imagination, and that's limitless. And you. So when you're thinking about that goal and achieving it, how does that make you feel? How will it make you feel? What's the emotion that gives it the motion to go do it? So think of one with me just for a moment and really feel. Well, first of all, just imagine doing it and get that feeling that you're doing it. You're getting over a few hurdles, but you know you've got this. You see the winning post, and then you're there. Really feel that emotion. And feel the motion in that. It's pushing you and it's pulling you. And you've got all the energy that you want. You've probably got bags more, oodles. We like oodles of energy. And it's just, whoo, there. You see, this is what I think it's all about. It's all about the feelings. If you got those feelings, doing, or even getting, a slightly different result, would it really matter? Especially if it was that feeling. That feeling or this or something better. And that's why I say we're not quite as intelligent to know exactly what we want in the end result. That's where I want to throw away that tunnel vision. So your unconscious mind says, if this is the feeling that you want, Cluffy, or this is the feeling that you want, I'm going to get that for you, or something better. Because at the end of the day, that goal is to feel that feeling, isn't it? So it's about health. It's not about knowing that you're healthy. It's about doing and being healthy and feeling healthy. If it's about a relationship, it's about being in that relationship, experiencing that relationship. So we're sort of being specific, but in the specificity of the feelings. Yeah, did you get that? Took me a little while to get it, because I was, in the past, struggling with these bloody resolutions, and they seem hard. But when you go this way, this counterintuitive way, but just go this way, just start imagining what it'd be like to be in the process of doing it, to be in the process of completing it, to be in the process of being successful and feeling it even more better than you can imagine. And you can imagine it feeling better than you think it will. And then it gets better than that. Doesn't that make you feel like you just want to do it now? And not only just do it, but do this, like setting ourselves goals, setting ourselves, well, just aims, This is how I want to feel in where, though? Where do we start? You see, again, I thought about this. Really, Cluffy? Yeah, I thought about it 2 ways. Well, I thought about it and then I thought about it again, if that's 2 ways. You see, the first time I thought, this is what we always do. And I say always. And I think it's a good place to start. You remember that, like, the wheel of life where we have 6 little pieces of the pie, and each little piece of that circle, that segment, is the context of our life. So it could be career, could be relationships, could be your health, could be your hobbies, your side hustle. It could be, what else could it be? Oh, I don't know. It could be family, could be your spirituality. You go wherever you like, but each one is like a segment of the pie. It is a segment of that circle, the wheel of life. But all I'm saying there, they are general contexts of your life, general areas of your life. And that's where we tend to start. And unfortunately, that's where we tend to finish our thoughts. And I nearly did too. But the thing is, I wanted to change it. So I thought, what could make it even richer? So I get those feelings even richer. Good question, isn't it? You see, when you ask a good question, guess what happens? Your best friend inside goes, hey, well, it does to me. And I can hear him saying, hey, Cluffy, bloody good question. Be back with you shortly. So what I thought was, let's take this and make it even more specific, more specificity. So what we want is subcontext. So if you've got a circle of life with each little segment, you're now going to take one of those segments and put it into another circle, like another mind map. That subcontext is in the middle of, say, I love mind maps, you know that, but you can do it as a list, but you'd be boring. Well, you wouldn't, but you would. You would be boring. But hey, first one, maybe it's career. So let's just look. I'll go through a few with you now, because I did in my mind. So career, what would be subcontext of your career? Well, to me, there's immediate. What do I want immediately in the next 2 months? Maybe then long term. I know I used to have stages, milestones, what I was heading for. What am I going to be when I'm 20? Where am I going to be in my career at 25? Where am I going to be at 30? And because I had those, I just beat them because I'd set them. But they were like little subcontexts of, I just want to be this in a career. No, this is when I want it. So you've got immediate and long term and in between. That could be things you want to learn to extend or enhance your career. Maybe a change of direction. Maybe a side hustle. So you've got your career on one side, a side hustle on the other. Maybe it is connection. Connecting with other people. Networking, but in a particular way. And you can even go even deeper in each one of those, can't you? So we've got subcontexts of subcontexts. Subcontexts, I guess you call them. So you get really specific. So let's pick another one. Health. Oh, bloody health. I put that at the moment only into, I split that up into 2. Because I've got my mind. I want a healthy mind. So could be, what do I want in personal development? And that to me was things like, what do I want to learn? What do I want to read? Who do I want to be taught by? Then there was dealing with issues, my own mental health. So when I say my own mental health is, what are the things I want to let go of? Have I got some anxiety? Have I got frustration? Have I got anger? Well, we know we've got all of that, but is it affecting my life in a negative way? Have I got FOMO, fear of missing out? I don't know why people do that, I'm just annoyed with myself for saying FOMO and then fear of missing out, because you either should say FOMO and let you know what it is, or say fear of missing out. But anyway, that was a side note to me, really. You've got things like imposter syndrome. Maybe you're suffering from PTSD, trauma of some kind. Maybe we're just a little bit hyper. Maybe we've got too much going on, or we've got these things where you just have to keep doing them all the time. But anyway, so things, and look at the issues that you want to deal with. Then you got improving my mental health, I've put it in a different way. So that could be things like meditation, could be things like yoga, but now that's cross-relating, I guess, with my body. But things like meditation could be reading, could be writing. Well, we think of different things now. It's starting to cross over. See, I went to body for the next one. So I've got my weight. I've got my fitness. Maybe I've got a few, I've made a note of illnesses, but maybe there's a few things that in my body that I need to take care of. Maybe I've got a dodgy knee that I just keep pushing on. Maybe my back pulls out now and again. And they don't have to, by the way, because when we get things sorted, they're sorted. So maybe there's structural things we want to do. But you have got things like, it could be yoga. And now you're starting to put things together, which is going to improve your body, but it's also going to improve your mind, which generally is going to be healthier. Then you look at other things such as hobbies. Maybe that's a bit like a side hustle. What type of things would you like to do? Or maybe you've already got those. Could be art, music, writing, acting, you name it. You could take one of those and decide, break those down into areas of the art you'd like to, maybe people you'd like to see. Maybe there's an art gallery you'd like to go at. Maybe there's a new process you want to learn. Maybe you just want to spend more time getting better. Music, same type of thing, isn't it? Writing, spending time reading and writing together to get better. Acting, going to improv. So many different things that you can break them down. I thought of another one. That's it, I thought of another. So you can imagine, first of all, we'll go to the other one first, in a minute, second, that is. You've got all of this, yeah? You've got all these sub-contexts of the big context. Now, if you can imagine a world being so rich, if you've got all of those, how rich would your world be? And the good thing is you don't have to do them all. I'll tell you how that happens in a minute. But there's also, and this is the thing we always forget, or not always, that's too big a generalization, things that I forget. It's like, what are the things that I'd like to repeat? Those experiences and feelings I'd like to repeat and experience again. So it's not just about improving, it's a matter of, I really just want to do that again because it was such a lovely experience. Maybe it was meeting a person, maybe it was sharing. That's part of relationships, maybe. I don't know, another context. But not only the things you want to do more or differently, but the things you want to do more of. Wow. Now, I am saying you've got to write it down, but we'll come back to that in a minute. But the thing is, this is so expansive now, but it's good expansive. It's not, to me, it's not overwhelming. It's just, I want to get there. And you see, as you do this, some are going to jump out at you. Others may grow. It might be something like, wow, I'd forgotten about that. Or, as I say, some of you are going to go, man, I got to do that. Woman, I got to do that. Hey, girl. Hey, boy. We've got to do things like that. Have these voices in your head. They'll spur you on. Maybe do an episode about getting those voices in your head. Some people used to think that was being, mad. We've all got them, by the way. Anyway, I digress. I'm now pulling myself back. So I think you have to make a mind map of those contexts and those contexts and those subcontexts and even the smaller ones. And the thing is, now I did say mind map. The only reason I say mind map is I find that a mind map is something that you could leave with little end legs on with nothing on them because your mind will come back to them. And each time you start to look at the mind map, you get more and more things that just come to your mind, intuitive ideas. So if that's something you want to explore, Tony Buzan invented it. Just Google Tony Buzan mind maps. Awesome books there. There's plenty on the web anyway, but just mind maps in a nice puzzle book. And I think what I want to make sure of is that these contexts and subcontexts, and even the sub-context of all this stuff, that they're yours. No one else's. They're not the things that other people would approve. Not, what did I say approve of? But you're not doing it to get approval. That's a better way of putting it. You're not doing it because people tell you to do it. This is what you got to do. This is what everyone does. Sod that. This is you. This is you being an uncommon person in an uncommon group of uncommon people, because you're unique and these are your unique ideas. These are the things that you were put on this bloody earth to do. You just don't know it yet. Well, you do know, but you just don't know that you know. And this is a way to finding the things that you know that you don't know you know. Woo. So that's what it is. Got to do that. You got to do that. So you have to write them down. You see, the other thing about writing this down, I tell you so many times, and I tell myself so many times, so this is a reminder to me. You write it down so you can come back to it again and again. You can add, you can subtract. Yeah, you can take things off because you can say, well, I've done things and I've written it down and go, no, that's just what I've been thinking all the time. That's what other people think you ought to do. I'm not doing that. It doesn't give me the buzz. So I'm going to take it off. But writing it down means, first of all, you've got to think about it again. Your muscle memory in the pen, you have to make the words up in your head to write it down. If your writing isn't that good, it doesn't matter. One word will do. A picture will do. A little note, a little scribble, little doodle. Things that remind you of it. Doesn't matter how you do it. Say, look at those mind map books. You'll see people do it just in illustrations, different colours. Everything is unique to you. So it's yours. But the thing is, then you can come back to it over and over again, because you are influencing that unconscious mind of yours now. You're saying, this is what I want to improve upon. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to learn. This is what I want to grow. Hellfire, this is all about personal development and getting the life that you dream of and what you bloody deserve. And in effect, I believe this way of thinking is the root cause of all your dreams and goals. That's a big one, Cluffy. Well, I think it is, because when you get to this and you start getting the feelings of the things that you want, and you've got all this stuff and you've put it into your unconscious mind, you are being at cause. And therefore, if you're at cause, you must be the root cause. There's no other bugger who's going to do it for you or with you. Well, they might do it with you, but this is your personal journey, your personal adventure, creating your dreams, your goals. So you are the root cause. So be on that side of the equation. And the effect then becomes the dreams and goals that you create in your reality. But more important than that is, these are the feelings you're going to create in you, for you. And also, when you do this, this also shows areas where you might do a little bit of work on yourself. I know I have. I've come up with a few things and I get thinking, well, I still want it. I still want to do that bloody thing. So why aren't I? Now, I don't like that why just slipped itself in, the little bugger. Because I don't like asking why. But I sort of do here. Because I want to know what belief is not, well, is stopping me doing it. So I can ask, why am I not doing this? And I'll look for beliefs, listen for beliefs. Those negative beliefs that stop us from taking that action. And sometimes you might have to go to your puzzle book for that, but I'll come back to that in 2 seconds. But also I want you to look for the emotions that stop us taking that action. Because you might have something like, I don't know, I'll give you an example. Here's an example, a personal example. Do not tell anybody else. This is between you and I, please. It's personal. I love sharing personal stuff because I know you won't spread it around. But a little while ago, I was doing this very thing. I think sort of this very thing. And I think that's what's inspired me to think, to make the notes, to make everything, and then come and share it with you. But for me, it was art and drawing. And I've had this recurring dream, goal, whatever you want, to come back to drawing, to come back to doing art. But something is there that I just don't do it. Now, why the hell is that? I had to get my puzzle book out and start exploring and start looking to find what stops me, what emotions, what beliefs. And when I did, I found some. I found some about being guilty. I found some about what other people had said to me early doors in my younger life, telling me how I'd never make it because it doesn't matter how good you are, there's always people better. Now, that wasn't my belief, but I obviously took on that belief because I just dropped it like a stone when I was younger. And then in my middle life, or a little bit later on, I started doing a lot more art. And then when I was thinking about that in my puzzle book, how good it was, how I lost time, how I'd be in the flow, how I just loved doing what I was doing, and I got inspired outside of doing that. A bit like when I do my podcasts. I love doing these things, and I'll be wandering around listening to things, looking at things, reading things. I'm thinking, oh, that'll be a good subject. Oh, I'd love to share that. I'd love to think deeper about that. It's a bit like this, I guess. But even finding that limiting belief, and now I know what to work on. But that's I'm going to guess. I think I'm going to do that on another podcast. I'll do like, not episode 2, but part 2. Because at the moment, I don't want you to have anything else to do other than this first bit. Because I don't want to overwhelm you. Because I want you to get so inspired by just doing this first. So we're going to look at the things that stop you. And if you look back at some old, no, they're not that old. We did some work on goals and things like that, looking at acting as if and why it's difficult to act as if. It all comes down to negative beliefs and things like that. But before we get there, I want you to just really begin to start thinking of not just context, but subcontext and subcontext. So you really go into the specificity of what you want. Because I don't want you to have any other work to do. Because, and this is so important, I'm going to leave a little gap. That's right. The only gap. That was supposed to be a dramatic gap. But this is the first domino in a massive domino rally. And the domino rally isn't a straight one. It's one that's got lots of little branches on it, like a mind map. They go and they have a sub branch and a branch after that, a branch of that. But we have to tap, push gently, knock the first domino down. Can't even say it because I got a little bit, I even seen it in my head. But just get that first domino to move on to the next one. And then it'll go on to the next one. And what this first domino is, it's the one inside your unconscious mind. Because it's going to go ahead of you. I know it is. Because one thing you cannot do, you cannot not do this and not start to feel that emotion. Because you will start to feel those emotions. And each one will be subtly different. So, without knowing it, by thinking and having this metaphorical domino fall onto the next, you're setting a direction for your life. And you're setting that direction on how you want to feel. Yeah. And the thing about this is, and this is what I sort of headed to a little bit at the beginning, is when we get so specific and because you're going to say, well, Claffy, I can't work on all of these because when I write them down, there's going to be 20 or 30. Yeah, I know. That's one of the wonders of this, because we can just work on all this stuff. But also, as you pick one at a time and you start to get those feelings because you're being successful in that particular context or subcontext, guess what? Automatically, and it's automatically, it's the law, Clough's law. It's another one of my Clough's guarantees. Those feelings will start to spread. They'll start to generalize into those other areas of your life without you thinking about it. Because the thing is, when you start getting more confident in one area of your life, guess what? That's right. You get more confident elsewhere. So you might get more confident in relationships, but at work, you suddenly become more confident. You start doing things. You start meeting people. Oh, there's relationships again. And then you get more confident and you start doing the things that you haven't quite got round to yet, but you have. And you've started it by being at the root cause of all your dreams and goals. Doing it this way. So let's just recap for me, basically, what I said we ought to do, or we could do. This is the way I would do it, counterintuitively. First of all, fuck those New Year's resolutions. Sorry about the swearing, but that's what we have to do. And then we write down the context of areas of our life that we'd like to work on. Or just, in fact, forget the parts that you want to work on. Just find as many contexts of your life that you have. Maybe add a few in that you just want anyway. And then break them down into subcontexts. So, as we said, we went for career. We went intermediate, long-term, change of direction, side hustles. We did health. So we did our mind, our personal development. We wanted to learn, dealing with issues that we have, which is a little bit like we finished off just a minute ago. Our mental health. Maybe we want to just get more focused, like meditation. I want to look after my weight, because now into my body, by fitness. Look at little parts of my physiology that aren't quite as good as they are. I've got a dodgy knee. My ankle clicks. My shoulder. I don't know. Maybe there's other things like hobbies. Well, the things you do already you want to improve on: art, music, writing, acting, meeting people, relationships, family. Could be one-to-one relationships or just general relationships. Networking, that's back to business. But networking doesn't have to be about business. Networking just means relating, doesn't it? And thinking about how you'd feel. How you'd feel when you've got what you want in each of those contexts. Because that's not a big deal, is it? You just look at it and go, if I got that right now, if I was doing it right now, how would it make me feel? And feel it. And then just rewind it a little bit. If I was on my way to getting this goal, doing it, doing the actions that are going to get me this goal, knowing that I'm going to be successful, how would that make me feel? And write the buckets down. So you can come back to them. Because one thing is, when you come back to them, you start reading them, you start to feel good too. Gives you emotions. And what does that emotion give you? The emotion gives you the motion. And then that motion gives you emotions. So we're going to start thinking about this differently. Because as I said, I want you to feel inspired in not just some areas of your life, but all and different areas of your life. Even the ones that you're not, they're there, but they're just going to change. Maybe those ones that you haven't even thought about. And do you know why this is important? Because it just bloody works. Just bloody works. And I know it's important to me because I've got things that I might even produce a course in this. I don't know, but it's a course inside me that I want to produce. So we go away from the generalities, which is those bloody New Year's resolutions, into real specifics, and then real specifics of you know what I'm saying, and then allowing it to generalize into all different areas of your life. That, to me, well, that's it. That's all you have to do. So I hope I made sense of that. Certainly, I know I wandered. I know I got a little bit excited in my head, so I don't know quite if the words came out the way they should have done. If they don't, please tell me. Please tell me by emailing me. feedback@personaldevelopmentunplugged.com. I'd love your feedback. I want to know if you feel there's more energy in these podcasts, these episodes of late. This is a thing I've been doing, I think, a little differently. And I'd love to know whether you're you're getting it or whether it's just in my head. I'd love to know if I did get it right, but there's still things that you want more of in this type of work or any other work, but in this particular work. So when I do the next, there's got to be a couple of parts to this, I think. So I get to include them. Just let me know, give me a little update, give me little thoughts. But also we talked about those, when you start thinking about the emotions that are stopping you, the beliefs that are stopping you. If nothing else, if you email me, hey Paul, when I'm thinking about that, I get this type of emotion. Or when I'm thinking about that, this is the type of belief I have. You don't have to give me any more than that. I don't need all the information. I don't need the content. Because then I'll look at the process. And I'll help you with that too. Because I know we think we're the only ones with these issues. And you're not alone. We all have them in different degrees. Or we know someone who has them in different degrees. So it'll all help. So please do share that feedback with me in any way, shape or form via that email. Or if you wanted to, you could look for me on Facebook. You either see me under my name, but there is a Facebook page called Personal Development Unplugged. So you can put a comment in there or message me through there or whatever. Maybe leave a little video on there. That would be interesting, wouldn't it, if you can do that? I don't know if you can do that, by the way. I know you can do it through the messenger, but I don't know how it all works. I'm not that au fait with all this stuff. So, yeah, that's about it really for me. I'm a bit pooped. I got very excited and all of that. But I do hope it made sense. I hope I have inspired you to just think differently. Remember that Tony Buzan book or Google mind maps. The most wonderful things to do. They really are. That's from my own personal perspective. I love them. So with that, I think I'm going to have a think about part 2, about how we can use this and how we can really start moving on from those mind maps, dealing with those things that stop you, and then also how we use to get that feeling to make these things go in a wonderful way, as in go towards the results you want. So do please share this if you would. Ask every time and just ask yourself, how many times have you shared this episode? Well, not this episode because you've only listened to it, but how many times have you shared the Personal Development Unplugged podcast? Because if you enjoy it, it would make me so proud of me, of you, if you could share it with your friends. And then this podcast grows. And yeah, it stokes my ego. I'm not a fool. I love to know that people love what I'm sharing. But also, more importantly, everyone gets to make themselves and be themselves, to find their true voice. Corny, I know, but what that just means is finding out who you really are and being who you really are in this little old world, being the change you want to see in others, and just making this little old world of ours a lovely, wonderful place to live, and then make it even better than that. So, my friends, I'm going to bid you farewell just for a little while, because it's time to fly.
Warning, you are now leaving the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. It's time to fly on your own. Be brave, my friend.
Personal Development Unplugged.